President Trump is hosting an annual picnic for lawmakers today after slamming some members of Congress in a campaign-style rally in Iowa last night. Senate Republicans are set to release details of its health care reform bill today. During the rally, Mr. Trump criticized Democrats as obstructionists for not supporting the GOP's plan. He also vented his frustration over the ongoing Russia investigation.
It's always terrific to be able to leave that Washington swamp. I mean, they have phony witch hunts going against me. They have everything going. And you know what? All we do is win, win, win. Obamacare is a disaster. It's over. And there's nothing to compare what we're doing. I hope the Republican Senate, if we went and got the single greatest health care plan in the history of the world, we would not get one Democrat vote because they're obstructionists. They're obstructionists.
Margaret Brennan joins me now from the White House. Margaret, during the rally, President Trump said he wants the Senate GOP to add more heart to the health care bill. Any word from the White House as to what that means exactly?
Not in public. We do know that White House staffers were up on Capitol Hill yesterday working on coming up with what they're going to, or they're expected to make public today from the Senate, which is at least a rough draft, some detail of what may be in that Senate proposed version of the health care overhaul, because we know that the president felt the first version of it from the House, though he celebrated it at the time, he now thinks it's quote unquote mean. That was the word he used to refer to it. So you can imagine that if you go back and watch that great interview the president did with John Dickerson from Face the Nation, where he went through his expectations of what would ultimately end up in this bill in terms of really broadening it out to offer more opportunity to those who would be necessarily excluded from the House version of the bill. You can imagine that's where they're going. But since no one has seen the text of it, we can't really explain it to you just yet. And I know our Nancy Cordes is chasing that story today.
All right. The president also expressed frustration with China for not reining in North Korea. Could there be a policy shift in the works to handle the nuclear threat?
Well, the president likes to try to give himself some room to run with his rhetoric, and by expressing publicly this disappointment, he seems to be further trying to shame the Chinese to change their position, but so far it frankly has not worked. The U.S. does want to add more sanctions. You may see that happen unilaterally from the executive branch to try to attack the financial holdings of North Korean leaders. This is really aimed not necessarily as retaliation for the death of that 22-year-old UVA student Otto Warmbier as a result of what happened to him in captivity, but it's really aimed at what the top national security threat is, and that's the missile and developing nuclear program. So it does not appear that Beijing has changed its policy of wanting to negotiate a peace treaty between the North and the South, rather than the kind of more confrontational approach to forcing the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula by forcing Kim Jong-un to the negotiating table. We know that the Defense Secretary and the Secretary of State were meeting with very top national security leaders from China just yesterday. And at the conclusion of that, both of those U.S. advisors to the president seemed to be saying it was a tough meeting. Frank and constructive is diplomatic speak for we didn't agree on much, and there was a lot of argument that happened during that meeting.
Margaret, on another note, a senior White House advisor, Jared Kushner, is in Israel with the goal of trying to restart Middle East peace talks. How did those meetings go yesterday?
Well, Jared Kushner is on his way back. He's supposed to be here in Washington today to be working on some of the domestic issues. We know that during that whirlwind trip, it was about 24 hours, maybe 36 at most, to Israel, that he met with the Israeli Prime Minister and also met with Palestinian leadership. So you're looking at Israeli provided video there on your screen of the photo spray with Benjamin Netanyahu, who gave Jared Kushner, you saw that warm embrace, really underscoring the friendship that their families have had over years. Not necessarily talking in any way about the specifics of a peace proposal that has not been articulated, has not been sketched out. You haven't even heard from the Trump administration whether this will be a two-state solution, as in a state for Palestinians peacefully alongside a state for Israelis. This is also due to some of the difficult political positions that the Israeli Prime Minister and Mahmoud Abbas, who you just saw there, the Palestinian Authority president, are in right now. So this is more hope than actual, diplomatic proposals at this point. But you are seeing Jared Kushner there showing that the weight and the power of the presidency is behind this effort, and that both sides need to take it seriously. I got to say, though, the day before, Israel went through with breaking ground on a settlement in the West Bank, the occupied West Bank, which was its first in 25 years. So they seem to be disregarding that request, the personal request from President Trump to stop doing that.
All right, Margaret Brennan for us on the White House lawn. Thank you so much.